Appreciate you coming on.
Third
I'm okay. Thank you. Thank you for inviting me.
How you been?
Pretty good. Pretty good. Thanks.
I was just explaining to them that grew up in the same neighborhood that your brother was my best friend, and you know what I'm saying. So that's just wanted to get that out before we go any further. You know what I'm saying? But I want everybody to know about you, your foundation, and the reason for it, and everything. You know what I'm saying? What you get through, and everything.
Okay. Thank you for the opportunity and well, yeah, you told them that we grew up over there in Northeast by McKinley Tech, and that was in the 70s, 80s. The organization is called Reasons to Hope Foundation. Um, I established it in 2014, and it was a direct result of things that I experienced while growing up. Um, Many of you might know, but I'm not sure, that in the 80s, the drugs sort of infiltrated our neighborhood and affected all of the families, and it impacted my family a great deal. I grew up with 8 brothers and 2 sisters. Um, and everything was fine in the beginning, but I think it was like around 79, 80, 81. Parents separated, and it was like all hell broke loose. So what ultimately happened, and I won't tell, I won't tell, I'm in the process of writing a book about it. The book is called You Can Turn a Mess into a Message of Hope. But the short of it is, people came to my mother when my parents separated, my mother had to let others come and live in our house. When these people came to live in our house, some of them were relatives and some of them weren't. They brought drugs into our house, and it wreaked havoc all through. And before I knew it, I was selling drugs and then also using drugs to cope with what was happening, because at the same time, relatives started molesting me, and I lost my mind. I didn't know how to deal with that, and I ran away from home after being whipped. When it was exposed that the relative was molesting me, I was whipped viciously, and I felt like a slave. So I ran away, and that only made things worse, because I ran to one of the guys. One of the guys I ran into as I was running away, he used to come to our house and buy weed. And I was trying to get to the hospital. He was like, just come on. But he ended up raping me. So I had to fight. I learned how to fight. I had to fight him off of me. And what happened is I ended up being admitted to a hospital. And it was St. Elizabeth's Hospital. I didn't know. I was just trying to get to a hospital, like Washington Hospital Center or Children's. I was 14 years old at the time, but the molestation had been going on since I was 12. And I was there for my 9th grade year. And instead of me being in school, I'm in the hospital being treated with first-generation psychotropic drugs. And I got out several months later. And when I got out, I decided I wasn't going to go back and live in that house with my mother. I was sick and tired of what was happening.
Oh, let me stop you right there. Now, I was going to ask you, because everything you're saying now is new to me, right? I was going to ask you because a period of time that I didn't see you around there. That's obviously why then.
Exactly.
So I didn't know all that was going on. So I'm sorry to hear that too.
Thank you, Rabbit. Thank you, but it's okay now. But that was the backstory. And now you know why I was gone for that summer.
Yeah.
And it was 14 years later that I started recovering my life and putting the pieces back together after being damaged. And I'm just going to I'm going to keep it 100. It was God who inspired me to start the foundation, Reasons to Hope Foundation, because I felt And I got pregnant. That's what that happened too. Like, it was a lot. It's a lot. You'll have to buy the book to get the whole story. But
Yeah.
my daughter, when I gave birth to my daughter in 89, she was my first reason to hope, because prior to that, I just wanted to die. I didn't want to live. It was so hard. And then I realized I was a reason to hope, and that others were reasons to hope. And so the way I look at it now is that I had to go through that experience so that I can better understand individuals that I ultimately ended up working with in the same hospital. I ended up getting certified as a peer specialist and going into the hospitals and helping people develop recovery plans so that they can put their life back together.
Mm-hmm.
And this organization or foundation exists to help individuals who experience trauma, mental illness, and substance use disorders. I lost a lot of loved ones, my baby brother, my mother, some other brothers, and I saw it happen to other families as well. So that's the gist of it. And
Let me ask you again. I do want to say I'm sorry to hear all that too. I really didn't know all that was going on. You personally started this by yourself, or how did this begin? Your foundation.
um, I I went to work at MedStar Hospital Center, Washington Hospital Center, as a peer specialist. In fact, when I said 14 years later, when I wanted to recover my life, I went there to get help. I started talking to a therapist, and I was in therapy for about 2 years. And when I finished therapy, I said, I want to go back to school. And I ended up going because I never got my high school diploma. And in 1999, I decided to go back and get my high school diploma. I got a GED. And from there, it's like, it's like God was shining a light on the pathway forward for me. So one of my therapists called me right after I said a prayer. I was looking for a job, and I had resigned from American
Third perspective.
because I wanted to go to school and work, and they wouldn't let me. So I resigned and I prayed. I said, God, I want a job that you want me to have. And that's how I ended up getting into the field of behavioral health or mental health as a employee, not a patient. And it was from there, working in the psychiatric department, that I was inspired to start a foundation, because a lot of the patients that I was working with, and the teams with the doctors, the nurses, and the social workers, they really gravitated to me because I understood, because I had lived as a patient at a point in time.
Exactly.
And they could better relate and connect with me. And so I ended up sort of interpreting for them what the doctors were trying to convey to them, and vice versa. So that's how it got started.
So it's called Reasons to Hope
To Hope
Foundation.
Foundation. Mm-hmm.
You came up with that?
Yes.
Reasons to Hope. What made you think of that?
I believe it was divine inspiration, Rabbit. And I believe it's because of the many people that I've seen, that I observed and had encounters with over the years, that seemed hopeless. And me talking with them and learning that they had dreams, you know, they they became victims or were victimized or traumatized, that they were good people. Um, all types of backgrounds, different cultures even. And the thing that I noticed about them, they really were misguided or broken or just confused by something. Something happened in their lives, like what had happened to me. It might not have been the exact same thing, but it was something devastating that threw them off track. And I began to see that they too were worthy of getting their life back together. So they became reasons to hope for a better way. Um,
That's what's up.
yeah, so
Now, if there's a female out there right now that's that's feeling the same what they was that's being raped or being sexually harassed right now, it's just a kind of a foundation they can reach out to right now,
yep,
or
they
so if somebody was to reach out to you for that right now, what would you do for that person that feel helpless right now at this point?
I would provide them with my phone number, which is 202-779-7527. They can call direct. They can um, connect with our foundation on Facebook, or go to the website. And I would talk with them. I would first listen.
Hmm.
I would listen to them. And then there's like a knowing that when to interject and connect them with other resources like clinical services that I don't provide. I'm not a doctor or anything, but I work with them.
Hmm.
And I refer and connect them, but I don't refer people to places or to doctors or therapists that will further harm them. A lot of the people I've learned don't trust professional mental health care or social work services or substance use or drug treatment. They don't trust them because they're misunderstood often. And
That's
so people like myself, there are others being certified throughout the nation to who have experience to help these individuals. And I have a database of resources, domestic violence, um, rape hotlines, and a plethora of resources that we vetted, and we know that they exist to really help people when
ex-
they really want help.
exactly. That's why I was just trying to make sure that if somebody's watching right now or listening to the podcast, they understand that it's help out there. You know what I'm saying? It's not a situation where it's nobody out there look that have ever been in your situation. It's like it's people out there out there trying to help you, and she is one of them. I was just lucky to grow up on the same block she was, even though I didn't know she was going through all these things. I just didn't know. You know what I'm saying? Even though her brother was my best friend, I used to go over the house a lot. I literally didn't know this was going on in her life. You know what I'm saying? I always remember her disappearing.
Starting a foundation. I took a lot of strength, and I understand that I wish you hadn't gone what you went through because that could be traumatizing. But it mainly helps women or like young children. Let's say a young girl ran away or she just didn't feel safe at home. They could run to you or contact you.
Yeah,
Okay.
they can contact me. We serve young boys, young girls.
Okay.
We serve men. We serve women, teenagers, from age 5 to 99.
Mm, that's what's up.
Oh, and you're the spearhead of it. Do you have like a committee or a group that's with you, or just like you? I mean, I know you have like people you can contact if your expertise is on like domestic violence or something like that. But the whole foundation in itself, I'm going the wrong way around. So just like the whole thing is ran by like mainly you.
Primarily, I am because of I'm the founder and the CEO. I usually say I'm acting CEO because I am hoping to secure enough funding to hire a CEO whose primary job is to fundraise. Um, but I have a board of directors, and we have some volunteers, and we have a team of other peer specialists. Peer specialists are individuals who've been certified by the different government agencies. Some of them have been certified in Maryland by Bowie State University. Some have been certified by the District of Columbia. DC Peer Support, the DC Department of Behavioral Health. So these are individuals who also have had experiences in their lifetime, either in their adolescence or adult life. Many of them have been to prison, have come home, and decided that they wanted a new way. They've heard other people tell their stories of trauma, and we connect them to others recovering. Similar to the 12-step programs, many people end up using 12-step programs such as AA or NA to start their recovery journey. That was instrumental in my own personal recovery. So it's not just me alone, because I've learned that I cannot, but we can. And if I often say our formula is this: illness equals wellness, or wellness equals illness, minus the I plus the we. I can't, but we can. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
Yes, it did. Yeah.
Oh, man.
What did Bomb say? Yes, we can. That was his thing.
Females, right? Okay. What type of provider of help could they get into when, you know, stuff really hits the fan? Like shelters, anything like that?
It depends on, there is a housing shortage when it comes to public housing. What we've seen over the years is that typically people who are in trouble, not all of them, some of them come from backgrounds wealthy, they're wealthy, but the majority have been people who have low income and adverse childhood experiences is their way of life. So if they don't have money and we have to go to the public housing agencies and things like that in the district, the key is to address all the other stuff. If you have, it's kind of complicated. The housing is attached to mental health services, whether you have a mental illness or not. If you want the free housing or the low income housing, apart from the House of Ruth and a couple of more organizations like that, you have to seek help through another type of organization. The front door to the housing is another agency, be it substance use treatment or mental illness, even if that's not the situation, if it's just purely trauma or rape or something. I don't know why it's designed that way, but it appears to be that way. Apart from, like I said, the House of Ruth.
Yeah.
Or the District of Columbia has a crime victims account that may offer housing for someone trying to flee from a domestic violence situation.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
Did I answer your question?
Yeah.
I heard you talking about funding and all that. If I wanted to donate, how would I do that? Because your cause is a worthy cause.
Oh.
Yeah, I want before you leave, I want you in fact, let everybody know how to get in touch with you, with your website, or if
Can
they
I
want to
put
donate.
the link? I'm gonna try to put the link in the chat. Is that something that could happen?
Yeah. So yeah, you let everybody know how they can get in touch with you, donate. Anybody in distress at this point in time, how to get in touch with you, anything. You know what I'm saying? So did I mute? I'm sorry. Say it again.
I'll put it in the chat here. I'm gonna try. I'm not that tech savvy, but I will try it. But it's our website is reasonstohope.org. It has a link where you can send a donation directly to the Reasons to Hope Foundation bank account. There's also a Cash App called Reasons to Hope Foundation. It has the logo of the organization there. Hashtag Reasons to Hope
Reasons hope.
Foundation. And there's a PayPal. It's just not in my head. I have to enter it on the chat here, and I can send it to you directly, Rabbit.
Okay. That's cool.
Yeah, thank you.
I want to appreciate you a whole lot for coming past. And anybody out there right now that's in distress right now, you feel like you don't have nobody that can help you. It's people out here that can help you out. You know what I'm saying? People out here that went through the same thing you've been through. So you just reach out to them and tell your story. You know what I'm saying? I just want to appreciate you for stopping past and telling your story. To be honest with you, and anybody that want to donate to her foundation, she give you information, Facebook, follow her on there and find out information. You know what I'm saying? To donate to the cause. It's a good foundation to be involved with. You know, I appreciate you a whole lot for stopping past. You know what I'm saying? When I say when I be telling people I love black women, this is part of examples of why I love black women. You got something to say before you leave though? Appreciate you though for coming past.
I was going to stay. I can't hang out with you guys.
Perspective.